Welcome everyone to another beautiful day in Portland, Oregon. We are having a lovely false spring, although it could be a real spring. But that's how the false spring always gets you. This week we're going to be working on the air conditioner. So the AC I bought is a rooftop AC, and it's specifically a 12-volt air conditioner. So I won't pretend to understand it, but according to my research, 12-volt air conditioners are actually more efficient than 120-volt ones. Now, whether that's legit or not, I don't really know, but all of the really expensive air conditioners for van life are 12-volt. So the one I went with is, I think, called the Summit 2 from Out-Equip Pro, and it's the cheapest one that actually seems to have good reviews and seems to be reliable. There are cheaper options available, but I am looking to sell vanilla at some point, so I'd like the big ticket visible items to be reasonably recognizable brands. I will say that $900 feels pretty steep to me, but the very cheapest thing I could find that's comparable was $600, and the really premium ones are like 2,000 plus. So, as is often the case with relatively budget things, it will turn out that this air conditioner requires a decent amount of thinking and also some fabrication of other parts. And as a result, I'm having to split the video into two parts because simply too many things happen. So, without any further ado, let's get into the video. Alrighty-roo. Bippity boppity boo. Oh my god, I really thought this would fit on the table. I did not realize how big this whole thing was. So we obviously got the main air conditioner unit. This is the panel that is visible from the inside. This is going to be a flange similar to the Max Air fan flange. This is probably an adapter for the roof. I'm not sure what this is, not sure what these are, and not sure what this is. Maybe this squeezes up on the inside of the ceiling. And then we just have the remote and then various fasteners and like an extra vent cover. That's nice. So let's take a look. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, so yeah, so this will be on the top of the roof, and we can even see, where this goes. So this goes around here. Then yeah, let's see what we got. Something I'm very tempted to do is plug this into the battery and actually like run it first, just to make sure that it actually pushes out cold air before I go and cut a fucking hole in the roof. The roof opening must be at least 14.1 by 10.1 or 10.3 inches. Okay, well, I don't see any reason to make this extra big. If I ever want to install a Max fan in the same place, I'll just cut a bigger hole. It must be flat, level, and strong enough to support the air conditioner's weight, around 45 pounds, both during stationary use and vehicle movement. EPDM foam gasket to make a watertight seal around the roof opening. We have two kinds for different installations. Okay. What the fuck? Drill a clean round hole through the RV or truck roof near the unit's mounting area. Use a cable gland or rubber grommet to seal the hole and protect the wire from abrasion, water, and UV exposure. And they don't provide me with one. What the hell? If you prefer not to drill a new hole, you can reroute the power cable internally to pass through the return air duct. Yeah, so let's do that. And this will familiarize us with the unit a little bit so that we can run the tests. So let's get this cleaned off and get it flipped. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so open the outdoor unit. Remove the top cover. Oh my god. And then flip it back over. And then they say just remove the top, so. And pop. All right, okay. And then it says pull it up through, so I guess that's here. I'm very curious how they, here, hold on. Locate the evaporator cooler, route the cable, lift the foam cover above the return air duct, create a small hole, feed the cable through the hole and duct into the cabin. I mean, do I mind there being a hole in the roof? I've been looking at videos to try and figure out where that would actually come in, right? Like, because what I don't want to happen is to like route it down through there and then realize that like it's gonna like impact the, or it's, you know, realize that it's like fucking here, you know, right? Like,
Yeah.
Or I just gotta figure out where it'll actually go before I do it. Based on this, I think it'll be within the 14 by 10 inch cutout that they recommend that I make. And if that's the case, then I'm fine with it. I think when they say through the return air duct, I think that means that it'll be running like here, right? So we have this, which mates with this thing, and then it would be like here, and then I'd like drill a hole in the side of whatever support I've made. So I think that's it. I think I've sufficiently walked through it to figure out what the fuck. Oh, look at these little cuties. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I can make them if I need to.
It could just be that the battery's really low, but I have a little, you know, readout of various things on my dash, so I've been keeping an eye on my battery while I'm driving. It spans between 12.7 and 15.2.
Yeah, that's too high.
So it sounds
that seems like an alternator problem. Okay, so let's free this cable, and then we gotta pull it up through here, and bam. I ended up having to take this little fuse holder off to fit it through. Oh, right, I'm gonna leave this off because I'm gonna feed these wires through another opening that I make. All right, and the next step is to pop this off. So yeah, now I gotta decide where I'm gonna run this through. Route the cable, lift foam cover, create a small hole in the foam aligned with the duct opening. So it does recommend making a hole in here. Surely we want to route it like over here. And that cover is like very big. So this is all open space. So I think we are gonna be best off putting it through. Yeah, let's just not overthink it, and we'll put it through like here. Could have sworn I had a piece of chalk. There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm running the drill backwards. Okay. Because these teeth would leave like very serious tear out, I think, if I ran it forwards. Okay. I'd love to like deburr these edges, but I think I can't really. Okay, so let's feed the cable through. Okay, and then I gotta feed it through the bottom before I can close anything up. Okay, and then I think I can close it back up, and then I'll put the Sikaflex on it once it's shut. Does that make sense? Okay, yeah, I'm good to go. If you ever do this, do use like the lowest torque limiting setting, and even then, so be careful, because it's really easy to over tighten these and like squish the shit out of the foam. Alrighty, so the last thing I want to do is just make sure that the lid still goes on, because we got this extra wire here now. Great. Okay. Great. Yeah, so it looks like that'll fit fine. Oh, right. I've got to put the Sikaflex on that little hole that we just made. Okay, and then here as well. Great. Okay. And then we'll just go around and kind of push it into the hole. Make sure that we got a seal. Great. So we got the sealant all up in here. It's a little bit gory because getting around here is kind of a pain, but I think it's all gonna be good. Okay, so I'm gonna put the cover back on. Great. Alrighty, so let's just make ourselves a template that's the size of the air conditioner. So what and what? Then let's add the cutout and mark and cut. Alright, so let's go see where we can put it. So we want to maintain access to this and probably this if we can. I don't actually know what this one is. So this is as far back as it can go, actually. which on the plus side means that we really don't have many choices. So we just kind of only have one place to put it, so we just kind of have to put it there. Alrighty, so I put this together as like a little mock-up just to understand how everything's going to go together. Basically, what we've got is the air conditioner, which is going to be up on the roof, and then we've got this layer of foam. Then next we've got this piece of metal, which represents the sheet metal on the roof. Then there's this, which represents the little insert for stiffening that I'm going to put up on the inside. Then we have this adapter plate, and then that bolts in, which attaches the adapter plate to the air conditioner and squeezes the roof so that it hangs on. And then this is the duct that sticks out in the van. So I'm at the point where I'm gonna need to shorten down these screws. With this air conditioner, if your roof is really thin, you have to cut down these bolts. So let's get it tightened down in the vise. Da 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 da. Now we can use the torque wrench. 7 of these clicks below 2.2. I want the distance between the inside of the metal roof to the inside of this lip to be 1.5 inches. Right now we're right at 2 inches. So I'm gonna go and just double check that I really do want 1.5 inches. So this is the distance that we want to match, because we're gonna be laying our ceiling right up on here, and our ceiling's just gonna be 1/8 inch wood. Yeah, so we need to make up an extra 1/2 inch on the top here. So in addition to making this seal for the bottom, I think I'm also gonna make an adapter ring that sits on top. Okay. Uh-oh, did I pull out the insert? No. Well, I was afraid that something like this would happen. I'll have to put it back in somehow, probably JB weld it. Also, I did that while conservatively hand tightening it, so like there's really only so much I can do. Yeah, they could really use more fucking adhesive here. Good news is I don't think I destroyed the threads in the plastic. Bad news is that I, still have to do some additional work. How were these inserted in the first place? Oh, there's a hex profile. Well, that must be how it's done. Alrighty, so I gotta upgrade the main fuse. So, and let's just get these out of the way. Then we gotta grab this. So we're replacing this 60 amp fuse with this 200 amp fuse.
Wow.
And this one has a little clicky button, so when it trips, I can just reset it. It's a breaker, yes. All right, so now we gotta re-terminate these. So we're gonna need to use some of these. I think this will work. Let's get our heat shrink on. Let's see. Okay, this will work. Okay. I just need a place to put this down so that I can hammer it. Okay. Then we pull on it. Hooray, it worked. So we put on the heat shrink, then the terminal, and hammer. Very good. No, I got schmutz all over everything. And then we shrink. Okay, and then let's wire this in. Okay, let's turn it back on. Very nice, and then pop. Very nice. Okay. How you get here? What happened? Armando, come here. He ran away. He ran away. Armando, come here.
Hey, buddy. You want a tortilla, maybe? think I left in the jar.
Oh my gosh, he does want a tortilla.
He loves tortilla.
He loves tortilla.
You-
Yo, John is a fucking tortilla slanging wizard. Wow.
Also,
Wow, another day. Alrighty. So, time to plug in the air conditioner and make sure it actually works before we go cutting a hole in the roof. So, let's go up. Oh yeah, and then the ratchets are in the Sienna. Well, let's take a quick walk. Okay. Give me your socket set. And let's go home. Okay. All right. If I recall correctly, these are 17s. I do not recall correctly. 14. Oh my God, it's not a 13, is it? Because that's the one that I already had. I had this one already. I had one on the drill. Well, can't always be smart. All right, come here. Okay. Okay. All right, so we're plugged in. The manual says there's 3 connectors. And so we got a 4-pin, a 4-pin, and a 6-pin. So it looks like 4-pin, 6-pin, 4-pin. So this will go like that. And this will go like that. And then this is a temperature connector. Okay. So theoretically, we can turn it on now. I'm also gonna get this on. All right, so let's do, well, that doesn't seem like it's good. That's not blown, at least. Maybe I'm just not pressing it hard enough. Yeah, okay. My guess is that it's really cold right now. Oh gosh. Okay. So 10 amps, that's 100 watts. Yeah, 122. Let's see. Yeah, so it's targeting 68 Fahrenheit. Ooh, wait, I know what I can do. This is the thermistor. So I should be able to trick it into thinking it's like 90 degrees out using my body heat. Okay, so drawing 30 watts, 50 watts, 60. Hear the compressor spinning up. 260. Wow. 450. Good thing we got that new fuse. And let's go to turbo. Oh, we were already on turbo. Drawing more current out of this puppy than we ever have. Okay, whatever. I saw 500 watts before. That's good enough. I don't need to fuck with it beyond that. Okay, it's working. So yeah, we can go ahead and move forward with the install. Bye. Okay, check if compound miter works on EPDM. So this is allegedly EPDM. Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, look at that. Gorgeous cuts. Okay, and now we're gonna cut this into 35 and 75. There's 3/4 of an inch. Alrighty. Okay. Cut out the compressor and the outer cutout. Okay, so we'll grab this as a template. Great. And a measuring tape. All right, so we're doing inside to inside at 45 degrees, so it's gonna be something like that. So we want 12.25. Yep. Okay, let's see. Okay, this seems pretty good. So we'll just copy this to the inner frame and then get those cut out. So let's get the inner frame cut out. Okay, so line this one up as well. This should theoretically line up with this width. It does. This is a little bit smaller, but that's okay. Okay, great. So find corner clamps. So I might have trouble finding them. Here we go. Okay. So I've never used this kind of clamp, but I've seen them used and they seem like they'd be pretty easy to use. So we go like this, get these to the corners, approximately to the corners. This will be the last corner. Pull ourselves in on both sides. It's definitely fighting me a little bit. So we're gonna glue these, then tape over the edges, and then we're actually gonna glue these on top of them. That way they're all like well held in place while they glue. It's really painted on. Now let's just tape over the edges. Okay, and then let's glue these big ones together on top. Okay, and then let's get the clamps on. Alrighty, and now we can snug them up. Okay, just pressing them down every once in a while to make sure we're not like turning it or anything. I was hoping for a rubber mallet, but you know, you can't always get what you want. Okay, that's pretty good, that's pretty good, that's pretty good, that's pretty good. So that's that, and we'll just come back to it later when it's all glued up. Yeah, so let's do those measurements and make those cuts and then come back. Okay, so it's in 3 pieces right now, but what we're gonna do is follow the instructions, whatever they say. Okay. We should probably spin vanilla around. Clickety clackety. Okay. So on this line, this black line, to basically line up with the screws here. 7 3/4 there. So 7 3/4 will be good. Okay, so there. Okie dokie. Now, okay, that's about right. Great. Pull this up and have it go over the edge. Okay, 1.5 inches from there and 1.5 inches from there. Okay, great. So I think what I'm gonna do is just mark out the corners. I think I want a straight edge, so I'll grab one. Okay. So it looks like that would fit through there, just barely, and then so that is sticking through right there, and I can just see the other side there. So alrighty. Alrighty. Honestly, it feels good to just have the fucking hole done. Great. Okay. Oh my god. Come on. Okay. Oh my god, it's so fucking stressful. Okay. Okay. Just, fantastic. Okay. Alrighty, so let's go figure out where this notch goes. Okay, so the tip of the notch is right here. You know what? We did pretty well. Holy cow. Yeah, I'd say just a little bit more here, honestly. Great. I think that's gonna be just fine. Just good enough. Okay. Once again, poor Vanella is being asked to drive with a hole in her roof. Why, hello there. So that is going to do it for this week's video. You'll have to tune in next week to find out how the rest of the build goes. Will the adapters work? Will Natalie finish the installation? Will Natalie give up and just install a skylight instead? You'll just have to join us next week to find out. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.